Hi everyone! Today we're going to talk about bonding. Yes, the bonding in chemistry. I'd like to explain this concept to you by showing what happens first before going into the terminology. Okay, here are two atoms, a sodium atom which has an atomic number of 11 and a chlorine atom which has an atomic number of 17. And this is what their proton and electron arrangement should look like. Be aware that in reality, they are both three-dimensional and the electrons will be constantly orbiting the nucleus. So now look, the sodium atom has one valence electron, which means that it has only one electron in the outer shell. This electron also happens to be the furthest away from the positively charged nucleus, making it easy to be lost to other forces. On the other hand, the chlorine atom has 7 electrons in its outer shell, also known as having 7 valence electrons, and its nucleus, positively charged by 17 protons, will have enough attraction to grab another electron from its surroundings to fill its outer shell to its capacity. Hence, when these two atoms are near each other, the electron of the sodium atom will be transferred to the chlorine atom to make both atoms more stable. Now, have another look at these two atoms, or I should say ions. The sodium ion, which has lost an electron, is now positively charged, and the chlorine ion, which has gained an electron, is now negatively charged. They will attract each other, and this attraction is called a bond. So now these two atoms will not just move randomly around, but instead stay close to each other as if they were attached. Remember that I say they turn into ions before forming a bond, right? So we call this type of bonding an ionic bond. Okay, move on to the next one. Here are another two atoms, two identical atoms, oxygen. And here is its electron arrangement. It has 6 electrons in its outer shell. Have you noticed already that now for both atoms, it is easier for them to grab another 2 electrons than to lose all of their valence electrons? This makes the scenario a lot different to the previous one. So in the situation where there are no free electrons around, they decide to share their electrons with each other in order to make both of them happy or more stable. Oxygen atoms have 6 valence electrons and they form a double bond with each other. Fluorine atoms, on the other hand, have 7 valence electrons and they form a single bond with each other. Do you see the pattern now? If the atoms need an extra 2 electrons to meet number 8, they need to give 2 electrons of their own. If they need one more, they need to give 1 electron of their own, and so forth. We call this type of bonding a covalent bond, and these molecules will be called covalent molecules, and they have an overall neutral charge because none of them have actually gained or lost any electrons. Now, the third scenario. I think you can probably guess it already. Yes, that's right. What will happen when there are 2 metal atoms? Actually, when there are many metal atoms. Take potassium as an example. It has a valency of 1 and will tend to lose their electrons to the surroundings in order to reach a stable state. So what we end up with is like many potassium ions joined together with free electrons flowing between them. Be aware that they are not actually ions because the overall proton to electron ratio is not changed. Due to these free-flowing electrons in the metal pieces, they are good conductors of electricity. This type of bonding only occurs in metals and is called metallic bond. So in conclusion, we have looked at 3 different types of chemical bonding. The first one was the ionic bond, which forms between a metal and a non-metal atom. It involves the transfer of electrons and the change in overall atomic charges. The second one was the covalent bond, which forms between 2 or more non-metal atoms of the same or different elements. The non-metal atoms will have a valence number between 4 and 7. The last one was the metallic bond, which forms between metal atoms of the same or different elements. These atoms will have a valence number between 1 and 4, and there will be free electrons flowing in between the atoms.